What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Turbo today at the request of Adam. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. So looking at this here, I'm actually curious, what was the last? I know I made a video on Turbo. It was on the 12th, and it was Turbo, Coinbase listing, panic now. I want to see what we've done since then, because I haven't looked at this really since then. December 12th, it's the 28th. Oh, wow. Oh, man, wow. So the 12th, I called that pretty well, if I do say so myself. I'm not one to really toot my own horn. That wasn't the purpose of that. I genuinely didn't remember the 12th. Yeah, that was it. I'm not going to click on this video. It's a 5-minute, 38-second long video, but I know a lot of people were giving me negative comments whenever I made that call that I thought Turbo would sell off. And I want to go over something before we get too much into the analysis here, okay? I actually want to, on this note, I want to tell you guys something, right? No charts, just my face here. I want to tell you. I've been doing technical analysis for 8 years. Over 8 years, I've been doing technical analysis. And in that time, I spent a whole day. Man, I was so bored. I spent a whole day. I went through like hundreds of cryptocurrencies. I went through hundreds of them. This was like years ago, like 4 years ago. And I still remember it. I have it written down in my notebook. I took the initial day that every single cryptocurrency I could find in like the top 500 coins, man. I went through the list on CoinGecko, went through all the coins, okay? Every coin that got listed on Binance or Coinbase, the day that they got listed on these top exchanges in crypto, I measured what the overall move was, right? What the expectation was. And I measured, and I also calculated or took into account how many coins out of the ones that I'm measuring actually saw drops from their initial listing on these top tier exchanges. 95% of the time, it's like literally more than that actually. It's like more than 95% of cryptos do drop as soon as they get listed on Binance or Coinbase. So when I say as soon as they get listed, I should reframe that. Within a month or two, if not literally that day or week. Technically it's within a 6-week period. I'm remembering now correctly. Within a 6-week period, most of the time it is within a 2-week period, but within a 6-week period, you will see a drop in any coin that gets listed on Coinbase, any coin that gets listed on Binance. These top tier exchanges, it's not like this for KuCoin, it's not like this for Bybit or Kraken, right? It's not like this for these low tier exchanges, just for Coinbase and Binance specifically. 95% of the time, probably more than that, within a 6-week period, you see a drop that is anywhere from 60% at a minimum, like a true minimum. It's like 60% at a minimum on average, to something that is larger than 75%. There are coins that drop 90%, but most of the coins don't quite drop 90%. It is between this like 75 to 60% drop, okay? So just with that in mind, I want to look at Turbo here, okay? I want to go back to Turbo. I want to look at the price on Coinbase specifically. Coinbase here on a daily perspective. So from this listing price, from the high of that listing price, right? That was it on the open. That was the listing price there. It's not a wick. Instantly you sold off, okay? Instantly. To the low, you saw an overall drop of 56%. And I told you the minimum, the average minimum drop was about 60%. And then the average maximum drop was about 75%. You could see things that dropped less than 60%. You could see things that dropped more than 75%, but on average, it was in that range, right? 56% is pretty damn close. It's not quite 60%. You're not quite out of the woods yet, but it's close enough where I feel comfortable enough saying that, hey, maybe Turbo has found a low. Maybe. But this chart here, and I want to make sure I'm on the small face. Yes, okay, because we're doing technical analysis now. This chart is not enough to do technical analysis on. So we need something with more gusto, more history to it, right? We look at this relative low here, right? So this was Coinbase listing where we are now. Okay, we look at the relative high to the relative low here. What you've done is you've moved up, you found resistance at your golden ratio zone, and you didn't play with this area, you didn't like tease with it or test it out, just find turbulence. You straight rejected, right? That's what a rejection looks like. And in fact, this overall move right now, it's like you put the line in the water, and now you've got your fish hook. It's a bull hook, right? Bull trap. And now you're going to go down is what it seems like to me. Rejecting the 618 like that, It's not a good look, but I will say this: there's hope. There's hope. There really is hope. Again, you dropped 56%. That's not quite the average that we see. We normally do see a little bit more of a drop than that, but it's close enough. Turbo is a prominent enough crypto that maybe it's absolved of seeing that, right? There are some coins that drop only like 20% or 40% when they get listed, but most coins do drop more. So just assuming that this is like most coins, let's run with the idea that it could go lower. Okay. If it were to go lower, rejecting off the 618 is not necessarily condemning the golden ratio. It's not necessarily condemning, but what would be condemning is rejecting off the golden ratio and then going below the 382. You can still find support at various areas. You could still find a higher low. It's possible, but generally, when you break below the 382 after interacting with the 618, when you break below the 382 convincingly, you likely will see a low that's lower than this. And then that only gets more true as you break the 236, right? It only gets more true as you break the 236. So what I would say, you're at about 0.00965 right now. If you want to prove me wrong, I think it's going to go down. I think it's going to go lower. I don't think that this drop was it. I think it's going to go lower. And in fact, I'm kind of curious, high to low. 51%. It was 56% on Coinbase. 51% here. If you want to prove me wrong, get back above the 618. Any day will do. Close any given day above the 618. And then truthfully, honestly, you need to get above this high too. So above the 618 and then above that high. Do that. And then I'm wrong in what I'm about to say. If you don't do that, if you prove me right, and I think you will, close below 0.009238. Is that what it is? I'm going to say 9238. I think that's what it is. Let me just, yeah, 9238. Yes. 0.009238. If you close any given day below there, let's say 2 days in a row, likely that would mean you're going below this low. If you were to go below this low, there's maybe 3 targets that come into mind for me, okay? The first target would be, I don't even have to use the fibs for this, the first target would be at these lows here, right? Something that's just barely below this low, something that's at previous areas of resistance, previous areas of support, current areas of support, overall consolidation phase here at the top, you're at the base of it, something just below this low could be a target. And in fact, I would even say it's a very likely target, right? And what's just below that low? Well, just below that low is an overall 60% drop, right? The average drop. And again, I'm not making this number up. You can't find this anywhere yourself. You'd have to go do it yourself if you wanted to. And maybe I am making this number up because I did the research and now I'm making it up here. I'm not fabricating it is what I'm trying to say. But I literally did a whole day's worth of research, man, and this is just what I remember. And I also wrote it in my journal. I used to check on my journal all the time for this exact actual statistical data, but because I did it so much, especially in my like early analysis after finding this out, I don't know if that makes sense. It wasn't my early analysis years. This was like after my 5th year of analysis that I did this. But after doing that, I would bring this up a lot. So I have it ingrained in my head that it was 60%. It might be 65%. I really should check that out. But all I'm trying to say is a little bit lower than that low is the average drop that you see when you get listed on Coinbase. That's all I'm trying to say. So it would make sense that you go just a little bit lower. But this price here for that would be about 0.00635, let's say. That price is at 0.0068. So maybe you only go there, or maybe you go a little bit lower, and that's fine if you do. 60% drop overall from here would put you down at 0.0057. But the thing is, that high, that's at 1.4 cents. Here it was at 1.6 cents. So I would more play that average drop off of Coinbase's price, not this price here. So I would say, I would stick with that. Yeah, probably 0.00635. So 0.00635, that would take you right basically here, which would be just below these lows here. And wouldn't that be perfect? Wouldn't that be the perfect area to get scared and capitulate and then sell, right? Just like here, right whenever, if you sold at the moment that we got below these lows here, you would have sold at the worst 2 weeks to sell, right? Literally. If and when we broke below these lows here, it wasn't this week, but the next week we did. If you sold after we broke that within those 2 weeks, you sold at the lowest point there. So I would assume maybe a similar kind of idea, because even if you are below this line, even if you are below this low here, you're still at relative areas of resistance, and you're still like kind of in this top area of support overall. And then I want to look just real quick what that high to low would be. I mean, right there, man. It takes you literally right to the 1414. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. And you could go to the 1618. It's possible too. I don't know, man. This video's gone on longer than I wanted it to. I feel like I've gone off the deep end a little bit, but all that to say, right? Turbo, I think, will go at the lowest to about 0.006, at the least to about 0.0069. Okay, no pun intended. It's just those are the numbers. Prove me wrong. And if you want to prove me wrong, what you have to do is close 2 days above 1.1 cent. Close 2 days above 1.1 cent, and I'm wrong. I'll admit defeat, and we can go from there. But if you close any day below, or I should say 2 days as well, below 0.009238, if you close any multi-day period below there, it's undeniable to me that you're going down to about 0.0069 to 0.006. And that's all I got for you guys. So if you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.